Afternoon, everyone.
Okay.
Thank you for coming in. Welcome back, Luke. Right back from his Hawaiian vacation. Here to film, back filming for us. So we're going to try to get some of these presentations that are sold out. We understand, some of these have, folks want to come to it, so we want to talk to Luke about getting them up onto Wellesley Media. And I believe the rules are still the same, Luke, that as of Tuesday.
Yes, every Tuesday they go out and go live, yes.
Yep, so if you're looking, if you signed up for some of these events, maybe you couldn't make it at a doctor's appointment or something, we're gonna try to get them up there, well, we will not try, we will get them up there for you to watch. But without further ado, you didn't come here to talk to me, listen to me, came here to hear about Wellesley Neighbors, so take it away.
Thank you, Kevin. And thank you all for coming. I'm really excited to talk to you all today about Wellesley Neighbors. I've been working with Wellesley Neighbors for about a year and a half now, and it has been one of the most wonderful experiences of my life. I love this organization, and I'm thrilled to share it with you guys. The slide that's up now, and I know it kept blanking out, so I'm sorry about that. This is our mission statement. I don't think I need to read it out loud for you guys. You can all see and you can all read very well. And I did want to talk a little bit about the plan for today. I'm going to keep it short. Nobody likes long meetings. I'm going to go as quick as I can, and then you're going to ask questions. So the first thing we're going to do is going to talk about what is a village, and it's in quotation marks because it's an actual thing. What is Wellesley Neighbors? A little bit about our benefits and programs. A few member stories, practical help that we provide, safety and trust with Wellesley Neighbors. Is Wellesley Neighbors a fit for you? Cost and affordability, and how to try it and joining. Okay, so the first slide is what is a village? The Wellesley Neighbors is part of the Village to Village network. The first village was started in 1999 in Beacon Hill when a group of friends who were all retirees, recent retirees, discovered that they didn't have the same social supports that they had when they were working. Some of their friends were moving away, and they were looking for a way to stay in their own communities with some support, and they needed to make some new friends to get that support. So they started their village, Beacon Hill Village, which is still thriving today. It's very grassroots, it's very neighbor to neighbor. There's a national organization, but it's not so top down. Every village is very unique and very different. Some villages are very services oriented. Some villages are very socially oriented. There are villages in the city. There are villages in the suburbs. And there are villages way out west in Massachusetts. The social connection and practical help is what really draws people to joining a village. So a village is really for social connection and for practical help. It's a way to stay independent in your own home, in your own community. And I'll throw in, it's also if you're newly moved to the area and you don't know many people and you're not very connected. And it complements the COA. In no way is Wellesley Neighbors a replacement for our councils on aging. And now what is Wellesley Neighbors? So Wellesley Neighbors was founded in 2011, and it was originally called Wellesley at Home, similar to Newton at Home. And it was founded by about 10 to 15 residents of Wellesley who had attended an engagement presented by Beacon Hill Village. And they were pretty impressed, and they said, hey, we got to do this in our town. And so they did that, and a few years later, they became Wellesley at Home. Then a couple of years after that, they discovered that not all of their members were in Wellesley, and not all of their members were only at home. So they decided that a better name would be Wellesley Neighbors. And Wellesley Neighbors is a part of the village movement, and we are member-led with professional coordination, and I'm kind of the professional. So I'm the only staff, but I am a paid staff member. Some of the things that Wellesley Neighbors is known for are our activities, our transportation support, and our trusted referrals. A lot of people feel that they have had this plumber in their house for 30 years and all of a sudden he disappears. He retired to Florida or to the Cape with 6 boats, You call me and I find you another plumber that everybody trusts. Wellesley Neighbors is also smallish, we can have up to 150 members, so it's pretty small. And we've divided all the members into neighborhood clusters. So it feels even smaller and it feels a little bit more intimate. Practical help when you want it and if you want it. We have friendly calls and visits if you want it, when you want it. We have tech help. We have members who provide tech help to other members. We also have non-member volunteers. Currently, we have a young man who is volunteering a lot of his time on Saturdays to go to members' homes and to help them with their technology, set up their iPad, figure out what's going on with the iPhone, etc. And some light tasks, not heavy work, but moving a box or two, rearranging some books. I referred to the vetted referrals for home services, and that is members recommending other professionals to other members. So electricians, dentists, housekeepers, trash pickup, dry cleaners, laundry service, home health aides. We have now it's about 250 vetted referrals on our list. There's one number to call when needs pop up, and that's the number for Wellesley Neighbors. So if you need a little bit of help with arranging a trip somewhere or a ride, or you need a ride to an event, or your electrician skipped town, you call me and I try to figure it out for you. It's a little bit like a little bit concierge-y because it's very personalized. We also want to encourage our members, this is a mutual support organization. It's not a passive organization. Our members help each other in as many ways that they can. So it's giving, but it's also receiving. Safety and trust, because this is very important. We have a high level of volunteer screening and driver vetting. So anybody who drives us is vetted by our organization. They're COA checked, they're background checked, and they get all their references called. We have a lot of clear communication before any ride or any help that comes to the house. And we partner with local organizations. We've partnered with the Wellesley Service League, for example. And we have an immense respect for all privacy and any preferences. For example, if someone says to me confidentially, I would only like a female driver, I respect that. I'm not going to read all of this, don't worry. This is a little handout too, and it just says, is Wellesley Neighbors a fit for me? And if you look at some of those things, that's kind of what we provide. It goes, I enjoy going to museums, concerts, exhibit, would love to go with a small friendly group. That's something you can also do with the Council on Aging. They have wonderful trips, and sometimes our members attend Council on Aging events together. Dues and affordability. We have two different membership types. We have a one-person household and we have two-person household. I'm going to point out that the Wellesley Neighbors dues are among the lowest in the region, and I think aside from the all-volunteer organizations, they are the which are all free because they're all volunteer, they're completely volunteer run. We are the lowest in Massachusetts. In addition to our regular membership, we have affordable access, and I have details in handouts here, but if you're of a low to moderate income, we provide discounts of 50% to 75% off our annual dues. Now I have the slide called Member Stories because I knew I had some members coming, and I was wondering if there were any members who wanted to share a story about being a Wellesley Neighbors member. I thought we might have one or two. Could we just have our members raise their hand then? So we have Judy over here, and Sarah Jane, and Terry, and Polly, and Renata was the one who said she was going to talk, and that little sneaky one left. Oh, she is? Okay, Judy.
Hi, I'm Judy Barr. I'm a resident of Wellesley for 53 years. My husband, many of you might know if you're Wellesley residents, you might even had him as a math teacher at Wellesley High School, where he was a math teacher for 37 years. We became interested in Wellesley Neighbors when I retired from Northeastern University, where I was a professor for 42 years. I tend to do things on a long-term basis. And when I became interested in what I could do in the community, because most of my time had been in the city or with my professional organizations, COVID started to get involved in what I was doing. So my husband and I walked the city, every street in Wellesley, times 3. So now I probably know where most of you live, if you're Wellesley based. Like I was just talking with someone that I met when we were walking, when she was out in her yard planting ginger. Wellesley Neighbors has been really interesting for both Jim and myself. We love to travel internationally a lot, and we would go to museums internationally. But then we started to realize there are these things around here that we're not doing. And there's also, he had his teacher friends, but many of his teacher friends were going away, and I had university friends that weren't in Wellesley area. And then we found Wellesley Neighbors as a friend, a colleague of mine from Northeastern. Her husband had been is actively involved in it. So we became actively involved in it. And since then, we've created a whole new community of social networking. And we've gone to the Rose Art Museum and to a wine tour and to a chocolate tour in Sudbury, and just a number of things with a group of maybe 10 to 12 people. The Harvard Art Museums, the number of museums, the TCAN productions where and most of these things when we then go out to lunch or dinner afterwards and talk about what we had just seen. So it's more than just going places. It's then actively discussing them afterwards. So you really start engaging in not only with what you saw, but also getting to know the people. All of the other people here are people that I have just met within the last 2 years. So it's a great family building, networking kind of thing. It's how to get out, how to meet new people, and also how to help people. And the other thing that there's still some Zoom things that we're doing. There's special interest groups. So there's a special interest that just is involved in culinary ideas. So they had a bread and spread just last week. Each person brought a different bread with a spread to see what it would be, from a Spanish one to peanut butter on cinnamon bread. We had another one on soups and salads. So they're fun things like that. People interested in that, in small groups, in people's homes, that open their homes, and then the rest of us bring the goodies. And the last one is, there are some Zoom groups. One is a play reading group. So different people take the role of different members of a play, and they talk about it. Or another one is a short story group, where they would once a month select a short story and then talk about it on Zoom or sometimes in person. I'm a member, and so is Sarah Jane, a member of the New Yorker. I was getting the New Yorker all the time and getting frustrated because I would not read the articles in it. Well, this is now a way you read an article in it once a month, and the whole group then discusses it. Really 2 articles. So it's a way to become more deeply engaged, not only in the community, but something that you're interested in. So I'll be glad to answer any questions after anybody else who would like to speak about it.
I'm very familiar with the concept of the Village Network. I'm familiar with the Beacon Hill one. Have met Judy, who founded, I can't think of her last name. And I know that once upon a time the Village network was founded with the idea of neighbors helping neighbors.
Yep.
You know, if they needed a light bulb replaced and couldn't get up on a ladder or whatever.
Yep.
But then the group tended to get a little older. This is my understanding. You can correct me.
No, that sounds familiar.
I guess it's become more professional referrals. It sounds like perhaps what
Yes.
you were saying today.
We have a mix of both, and I think, like I said, every village is very different. So there will be some villages where everyone receives services, and it's all professionally managed, which means that the professionals are, the dues are much higher to pay for all the staff, and usually they have an office. I work remotely. My computer goes wherever I go, and I can work from wherever I am. But with regard to like the service providers, we do have members who can help other members. Sometimes it's just a matter of talking somebody through something over the phone. For something more like changing a light bulb and all of that, we're starting to get some non-member volunteers. We do have member volunteers who happily do that for friends who are in Wellesley Neighbors. But we're also moving toward making it a little bit more multi-generational. To have, so that, our current younger male volunteer who's going to med school next year, so we'll lose him at some point. He's pretty tall, so he can change a light bulb pretty much anywhere. So he's very popular. Yes?
Yeah, I'm wondering, how old do you have to be to join Wellesley Neighbors? Can you be at 50 or because I think getting, not just elderly people,
Yep.
but people in their middle years involved would be a great idea. Because
Absolutely.
A lot of parents of teenagers would be interested in something like this for themselves and their children, and it would also be a great way to mix things up so that we're not strictly over 55 and trying to tune out all the noisy, obnoxious brats.
I absolutely, yes. Yes and yes, I guess. Anybody at this point, we don't have anything written in the bylaws that says you have to be a certain age or not. I think people are generally attracted to something like a village movement once they're retired. So once you reach a certain age. But we have people who are interested, and she's 50, and she has decided to become a volunteer for now, and then maybe join in the future. But yes, absolutely. We have no barriers. We have no requirements.
Oh, okay.
It's just what, if this is, an appealing structure, then absolutely.
Yeah, because this would be great for a lot of younger working people as well. They wouldn't have the time, but they would certainly have enough needs. And I think of some older retired people with time on their hands would be happy to help out. And then again, some of these younger people, like like that young man, the light bulb changing, there's a need for people who aren't, too old and too frail to do just a little bit of heavy lifting.
Yeah, there are a lot of opportunities to get involved, and we do, welcome non-member volunteers if someone doesn't want to be part of the social network, or maybe they're not interested yet and maybe joining the interest groups, or they're working full-time.
Yeah.
If you're working full-time, there's not a lot of time that you would have to take advantage of the trips that we have that are mostly during the week. And, when most people are in an office. Does anyone else? You have another question?
I'm sorry, I had a couple follow-up
Thank you.
questions.
No, no.
No, that's fine, because that's a really good point.
Yes.
Multi-generational.
Yeah.
By the way, Village Table at based at Wellesley Village Church, or seated, is multi-generational. I wanted to ask, and you may have covered this in your opening remarks, the size of the organization now, how many members or households?
Yep.
Gender breakup. And then I had a third one, and maybe it'll come to you.
Okay. So we can have up to 150 members. We have roughly 100 members now. It's a very comfortable place where we are, but we know that we need to grow in order to, continue to thrive. Gender breakdown is difficult. I'm going to say it's primarily women just because of the demographic. But we do have a lot of active men in our organization as well. There's a men's lunch that meets regularly every month. There's a women's lunch that meets regularly. We have men in all of our committees. I think save for one. There are men on the board, but sadly, it's just a demographic statistical fact that as our members are aging, they are losing their spouses, and typically it is the man who passes
And
first.
just look around the room, right?
And the room, yeah.
No, I mean, there are many more women.
There are exceptions, but yes, at this point, yeah, I'm not going to lie, it's probably 65% female.
Yes. And then the other, I thought of my other point, if you don't mind.
Yes.
And that is, where do you meet for some of the things that are mentioned here, such as, I don't know, walking groups and fitness classes and that sort of thing?
I'm glad you asked that because I forgot to make a slide.
Do you have a place? I know you said you work remotely, but is there like a headquarters or something?
So we used to have a headquarters, and it was on Route 9 in sort of, 888 Worcester Street, which you are probably all familiar with if you travel Route 9 at all. It was just an office. It wasn't very pleasant. It wasn't a wonderful place to gather or to meet. And so in sort of shifting the paradigm to making a little bit more forward thinking, our front office is now kind of online. We're on our website, which has been revamped. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. Oh, darn, I lost it again. Not that you need to see the question marks, but it lights up the room a little bit. And where do we meet? So for interest groups, there are people who are in the interest groups, and they would host it at their house, or if they're in a community area like in Wellesley Green, there's a community room at Wellesley Green. For our fitness classes, which we have an arrangement with Babson College, where our members get a very reduced monthly rate on any kind of fitness that they want to do. It's $40 a month for an individual and $60 for a couple. And that gives you access to all the swimming lanes, the indoor track, and anything that you might want to use in there, like the treadmill or a bicycle, weights. And they also sponsor us a free room where we offer balance and posture classes that are actually starting next Thursday, week from today. And it's again at a very reduced price. It's not free, but we have a very highly rated professional who comes in and adjusts everybody personally for the class. So we have the relationship with Babson. We do offer some programs at the Wakeland Room in the library. We're having one in October, and I hope you all can come to it. It's October 7th, which is a Tuesday, and it's going to be by a woman who is an expert in the area of music and the power of music for aging. And it's going to be a wonderful event. So we meet in general locations, but there's also a lot of travel. Like there's a potluck that was hosted at a member's house in Sherburne, and people carpooled and went there. It's very much a homey feel. It's not institutionalized. Like we have the Council on Aging if we want to come to a program here. We have the library if we want to go to a program there. This is, that's why Wellesley Neighbors is not a supplement. It's not a replacement for a Council on Aging. It's just a supplement. Just like a book club doesn't replace the library. But those are really great questions, and I appreciate you asking them, because it did get me to talk about Babson, which I had completely forgotten. Yes.
Can you talk about the fees and since there's an annual fee, but you also have to, pay for whatever event you're going to, what does the annual fee entitle you to?
Absolutely. I'm going to preface that with telling you that Beacon Hill's about 3 times our price. So we recently, because we have so much community support, we were recently able to decrease our rates for both our individual members and our household members. So for a single person, the dues are $365 per year. That's $1 a day. If you were to join for your first year, we understand people may not be ready to fully jump in yet. And that would be slightly reduced by about 25% to $265. For a 2-person household, the new rate is $530 for 2 people, and the introductory rate for the first year is $400. We do have the reduced discounted rates. I don't have them in front of me, but they are on a handout. For those who qualify, for our members who qualify, we have about 8% of our members who qualify for the discount. They are also able to have a supplementary sort of a budget where we would reimburse them for some of their outlay In addition to that, 2 times a year, we have an all-member lunch and we have an all-member dinner, one in the spring and one in the fall. And those are complimentary to our members. So this past spring, our dinner was at Fireside Tavern in Sherburne, which was fabulous. And that was free for all of our members. And then this fall, in about a month and a half, we're going to have our annual fall meeting and luncheon at Paparazzi. And that's also a meal that's completely included. In addition to that, all our interest groups are free. All of our committee participations are free. All of our speaker series are free. The only thing that would be an outlay would be a cost for a meal. We have the 6:30 Supper Club. They try out new restaurants all around the region. They went to the Oregon Club in Ashland not too long ago, and everybody enjoyed that. And that, of course, is you would pay for your own meal at that point. But by no means is that the only thing that we do.
I'm just wondering, as you've expanded geographically, if you have a dinner and everything for people who can't drive after dark or, other things that, as we get older, we tend to limit. Do you offer transportation? How does that work out?
So far, knock on wood, if I can find it, it has worked out okay. We have enough members who drive and who are happy and capable and reliable drivers who are able to drive other members if they are personally uncomfortable. We have some other members who are, like, they get together, they share an Uber from their area. We haven't really hit that hurdle yet, but it is an issue, and it is one that we do think about often. And transportation is my passion in trying to get more transportation for seniors and anybody else who doesn't drive in the suburbs, because it's one of the biggest problems that that population has, especially at night. One example is that we used to have our speaker series and it was at 7 p.m. and now it's at around 2:30 or 3. Especially in the winter. But we're very cognizant of that. If we were to have a meeting in January, say, it would probably have a Zoom backup because of weather, ice, things that are bugs or viruses in the air. So we try to just be very cognizant of that and be flexible. Yes?
Are any of your events on the weekends?
We do. We have events every day of the week, but not every single day of the week. Yeah, so for example, Judy mentioned TCAN, and their events are often on a Saturday or a Sunday. They might have a film event, or they might have a show. The Vokes Theater in Weston, that might be on a Thursday night or on a Saturday afternoon. Yeah, so any day. Yes?
Then you pay for those in advance.
You would, yes. Sometimes we get group rates. Sometimes, they comp us a little something, or they give us a discount because we're who we are. Yes. Yes.
Sorry, one more question.
Please keep going.
And I'm just curious, is there any reciprocity with other neighborhood, whatever we're calling them?
Villages?
Villages.
Oh, good question. Yes, we actually do a little bit, and we're starting to do a little bit more with Newton at Home, because they're our neighbors. And we've been in touch with Cambridge neighbors as well in Beacon Hill Village. And the executive directors and we've gotten together and decided, why do we keep reinventing the wheel? Why don't we just do a little more together? So, for example, at the end of September, Newton at Home is coming in, and they're going to walk the Brook Path with us. So we get to show them around Wellesley a little bit. So, yes, we do try to do that. In addition, we are connected with the Village Movement of Massachusetts, and collectively we tend to advocate for certain things. For example, transportation for seniors. There's a bill coming up in the Senate, and we're all advocating for that because what we do at Wellesley Neighbors is a little bit like microtransit with some of the rides that we give, and so we're just hoping that can be recognized.
And you do a newsletter or something?
We sure do.
I'm sure this vertical. Do other groups do it? Is there some central place? Wouldn't that be fabulous?
It would be. So this is an example of one of our newsletters. And I have some more. I don't have enough for everybody because this printing is pretty expressive. And it is online.
If I get
Someone who
more,
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Here you go. I'm sorry, this group. All right. Sorry, you guys are going to have to just share. I didn't have too many extras. That's, I think, from June. And it sort of shows, it gives an example of what we have and some of the things that are coming up in our calendar.
Yes, excuse me, medical transportation, now is that those vetted volunteers or vetted members, or how does that work?
Okay, so say member A has an appointment at her audiologist in Needham. She calls me or she emails me and she says, Joan, I need to get to 1140 Highland Avenue by 11 a.m. on Thursday, September 18th. And I say, okay. And then I fill out the form, and then that goes out to our vetted drivers. One of the drivers responds back to me, and then I match them with a drive. All of our drivers, we have their insurance, we have insurance on them, we have their current license, everybody's been queried, and they're usually members. And so if someone is a member, it has a high level of security. If someone is a non-member driver, that's even higher.
How many, do you have half a dozen, do you have 20? How many of these people are ready to?
Ready to drive? Yeah. Well, it's all based on availability. And so occasionally we have an instant, where somebody can't be driven. And I say, I'm very sorry, we can't accommodate that one. We're not, we cannot accommodate, we can't promise to accommodate every single request, but we do the best that we can. And it's like, 75-80% of the time.
Do they drive all the way into Boston?
We used to do that. And then it became a little bit expensive, and then with construction and issues and with our membership getting older. So currently we do not do that, and a lot of other villages have decided not to do that as well. But what we've done is we've decided to focus instead on finding other ways to get that transportation and connect people with other resources.
Yes. How many members do you have at this point?
100-ish. Yep, most are in Wellesley, and then after Wellesley, I would say Natick is the next town that has more members, and then we have Weston, Sherburne has several, Needham, 1 or 2, Westwood, Holliston, I'm forgetting a few, Sudbury. I know. Does anybody else have any questions? Yes.
I just wanted to ask if you were completely computer illiterate but just have a phone and can't do anything online or email or any of that. Can it be done through just the telephone?
I would say yes, with the qualifier that I would probably want to have a few sessions with the person who is joining to kind of get them computer literate, because there's just so much more you can do online than just on the phone. But yes, a lot of our events are signed up online. So for example, we have a lunch in a couple of weeks at Paparazzi. You want to register there. You kind of want to go on and click I'm going to register. We have couples where the one spouse is the one who registers and the other spouse is the less computer literate, and so that spouse is the one who's always signing everybody up. I have another situation where there's a buddy, so there's 2 friends, and one person signs the other person up. But barring that, I'm happy to do it. But I'm not going to lie, it's 2025 and a lot of stuff is online, but it's still possible. Yes.
This is all I have is this noisy flip phone. And it can't do.
It can't do anything?
I can't afford to buy any equipment.
Okay.
It won't do online.
We do not require a smartphone for Wellesley Neighborship's membership. And that's our number.
And we can mail this in to the address.
Yes, you may. Yes. And then I can call you on your phone.
I usually put phone calls only, please.
Yes.
So because if people text me, I can't even find it.
And that's fine. But you know what? We have the capability to have that one-on-one, people sitting with you to see if you're interested in doing that on a laptop or on a computer or anything. You're not interested.
And
You're a
I don't
Luddite.
have any, and I can't afford to buy any of that equipment.
Understood.
And people
Yeah.
have promised me they would teach me, and then when you ask them, they're busy.
Okay.
Or don't want to be bothered. And I've
Okay.
gone to the Wellesley Library, and they don't want to be bothered. They keep saying I have to get back to the reference desk.
Oh, dear.
Because I need to be baby. And I went to a computer class at a Dean of Adult Ed.
Yeah.
And the teacher came up and embarrassed me in front of other students and said, I do not have the time to give you that you need individually. So I
Okay.
never went back.
Okay, I'm going to remember you. Yes.
So I mean, what do you do?
You sound like a challenge to me. I don't know.
Some older people don't know how to do all that.
You are absolutely right, and that is a good point. So, yes, to his point, a lot of our coordination is done online. Zoom is a thing, and you haven't done Zoom. But we do have members who have gone to a friend, you know, they're a few blocks away, or they walk over, and they Zoom together, and they have a cup of coffee or tea or something.
I
No.
don't have that.
Well, not yet. Did someone have a question over here? Yes.
A lot of the groups, do they have limits as to how many members, how many people? Like if you had a cooking group or something, they must have.
There are space issues, yes. And some, like with the New Yorker group, there were so many people who wanted to talk about the New Yorker articles, they split in two, and then there were two New Yorker groups. So I'm not saying that every group that is very popular is going to split in two, but for example, the culinary interest group, which everyone loves to eat, so that's a really good one. They sort of have their official core group that kind of does all the planning, and then they open a lot of things up to other members, or they call them the Friends of the Culinary Interest Group. And so they have, you know, like a potluck, and they would invite more people in. We try to be as inclusive as possible within space constraints. For example, here, we could only fit 35 people, so we have wonderful Luke, thank you, Luke, taping this for anybody who couldn't make it. If nobody has any other questions, and I have everybody's little thingies, we can do the raffle for the really cute gift thing, which I'll go get right now. I also wanted to say that we have bags outside. There are membership applications. I have some handouts over here that I'm going to put outside that you might want to take. One has the handout of Is Wellesley Neighbors the Fit for Me? Another one is how we're different from the Councils on Aging. I have some of our brochures, membership applications, and really great jar openers with my little tagline, Wellesley Neighbors makes life easier. I use them all the time. So do we have all of the little cards and whatnot? Okay. I'm gonna turn around so nobody can see the color, because I know you all remember what color you did, right? Okay, you want to do it? Okay. 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 Get in there. Okay, you got one? Just take one. Okay, that's a blank one, so that's one that's folded. Okay. So I'm going to read, and it is, why didn't I bring my glasses? Oh dear. Okay, hold on. It is Sandy Tomsky. There you go. Okay, Sandy. Congratulations. So this is, I'll show you what you won. So this is what you've won. You've got a little Wellesley mug, some chocolate, a little magnifier if you're reading a book. These are always really good. And some cinnamon, one of my favorite teas, great for fall. So I'm gonna put it in a bag for you. So there are some Wellesley Neighbors bags outside. My business card is here. Call me, email me. You call me. Everybody else email me. Or text me. You can also text to that number if you need to. Yeah, we're here. Thank you. And if you have anything else, let me know. Okay. Thanks.